Ok.
Where your choices with the tyrant will influence the direction of the story, but also 3 separate characteristics. And although worth doing, this isn't what you should focus on from day one. What you want to focus on day one is the monolith mode. This mode is the heart of Stella Sora and the baseline to prepare all your characters known as trekkers for...
Fermi, che ho trovato il Chad che sa che sta facendo. Ok. Ok. Quindi il monolith è la cosa più importante del gioco.
All your characters known as trekkers for all other modes in the game. It's similar to how Uma Musume works with the career mode, where you prep your Umas for other modes like the Champions Meet. Now, think of the monolith mode as a roguelike...
Oh shit. Ok.
Floor clearing mode to build your trekkers that go from 4-star to 5-star, by the way, and that you can obtain through the gacha system. When you start up the monolith mode, you'll be asked to pick 3 trekkers, of which there are 3 types. Vanguard, being the main DPS, support, and versatile, who can be interpreted as either support or DPS depending on their kit. There is also 6 different elements in the game, being Ignis, Terra, Aqua, Ventus, Lux, and Umbra. Now, trekkers also belong to factions, which do have connections to certain skills that we will get into in depth.
Ah, ci sono delle fazioni. Ok, le skill dei PG influenzano le fazioni, quindi ci sono combinazioni e combo di fazioni tra i PG. Sono 6 elementi e 3 tipi di PG, che da quello che ho capito sono support, DPS e alcuni che possono fare entrambe le cose.
In another video, so hit that subscribe button. Now, as I said before, in the monolith mode, you'll be asked to pick 3 trekkers, but you can actually only control 1, and that one will be whichever one you picked as your main. You'll manually be able to use the main character's full kit, being basic attacks, skills, ultimate, and support skill, but the second and third trekker will automatically participate with their support skill and ultimate. Now, once you've
gli altri due vanno in auto, gli altri due PG, ok.
Gear that in Stella Sora is called discs, of which you have to choose 3 main discs.
L'unica parte di gear di Stella Sora sono i
discs.
dischi.
Main discs provide stats, Melody skill being a passive skill, and a Harmony skill being an active.
Lo vedi perché? Lo vedi questo qua, quanto è bravo? Chi è sto tizio? Questo è bravo, questo è bravo. Ok, aspetta.
That in Stella Sora is called discs, of which you have to choose 3 main discs.
Ci sono 3 main disc e 3 support
main
disc.
discs provide stats, Melody skill being a passive skill, and a Harmony skill being an activatable skill. While support discs only provide stats and a melody.
Ok, i main disc ti danno una skill attiva, una passiva e stat. E i support disc ti danno delle note musicali.
Now, there are many melody notes in the game, and there's a lot to go through when it comes to this, so we'll make a full video on that soon. And as a reminder, these discs are obtained mainly through the gacha system and go from 3 to 5-star ratings. Now, all trekkers start at level 1 in the monolith, as leveling within the monolith is what triggers the roguelike cards to appear, but your trekkers do have a permanent level system that is part of a system that you'll see in most gacha games, where you'll be required to farm leveling materials, but also ascension materials to increase their main level. This will increase their base stats for the monolith, and the same goes for discs as well. There's also a leveling system that goes from level 1 to 10 for all the characters' skill, where the materials that you'll be required to farm for leveling these skills will be connected to the character or trekker's role.
Ok, comunque stai dicendo, ogni PG, ogni disco, ogni skill solita c'ha i suoi livelli, ma questi fanno da stat di base per quelli che hai nel monolith, perché nel monolith c'hai un livello totalmente separato che sale poi, che è la modalità, è il roguelike.
You'll be fighting enemy hordes, elites, and bosses, which upon reaching the end of the run, give you what Stella Sora calls a record. And that record can be compared to a character's save point or a completed character, which works the exact same way as you complete a career in Uma Musume, where you're given a veteran Uma. This will include the trekker's roguelike cards that you chose upon leveling up during the monolith run, and these are pulled from all 3 trekkers you chose for your team and their card pool. They will also hold on to the melody notes that they picked up during their run, which we will cover in full in another video. So
ok, cioè se tu fai una run del monolith, è come CZN. Ti salva cioè ti salva tutto quello che hai trovato e te lo fa usare in tutte le altre modalità, quello è il tuo gear.
Yep, you get it now. Each time your trekker levels up during the monolith, you'll be presented with 3 roguelike cards.
Ah, ma è figo allora, scusa.
You have to make a choice that
ma come cazzo è che ho guardato 2 video e nessuno ha detto sta roba?
define your trekker's build and influence its direction. And this is the main gameplay loop, as you're basically preparing your trekkers for the other modes and building them in certain ways to conquer those modes. Much like how you would build different distance umas in Uma Musume for conquering different races. But what's most
Tra l'altro è un Uma Musume Enjoyer perché fai riferimenti a quello, giusto? Però ok, ci sta.
About Stella Sora and the monolith mode is that it's unlimited. You can do it as often
Il
and as many
monolith
times
è
as you want
illimitato.
without any energy or stamina restrictions.
Non costa energy o stamina.
Like Uma Musume, who has a TP stamina system that limits how many careers you can do per day.
Mi fa morire,
so you can
cazzo,
farm
ok,
and do trekker builds in the monolith as much as you like on a daily basis. So look at the monolith mode as a anchor starting point to all other game modes, as all the trekkers that you build in this mode will be available for use in the other modes that require a trekker record. And for the modes that include the use of your trekker records are Menace Arena, Cataclysm Survivor, Bounty Hunt, Boss Blitz, and Apex Showdown. Menace Arena is...
Ok, lui dice, in quella modalità roguelike dove ti salvi le build, quella build la usi in tutte le altre modalità del gioco.
An endless battleground hosted by two adorable cuties, and in this mode you can use your trekker records to fight endless levels and put your builds to the test and also get rewards. Cataclysm Survivor is very similar to the Menace Arena, but the difference is that there will be more enemies with less HP, whilst the Menace Arena will have less enemies with more HP. And there are some other elements such as Destiny cards that we will go into in another video.
Ok, ci sono due modalità praticamente infinite. Ci sono due modalità. Lo vedi che allora, lo vedi quando te lo spiegano bene che è tutta un'altra cosa? È tutta un'altra cosa. Ho capito che ci sono tette cose, capito? Però, cioè, serve il mix, serve il bilanciamento giusto delle cose, nel senso, una cosa alla volta. Ci sta. Yeah. Ci sta. Sta dicendo ci sono due modalità praticamente infinite. Una con più nemici che hanno meno HP e una che ha meno nemici con più HP.
Bounty Hunt is a boss farming mode that is almost exactly the same thing as the Notorious Hunt in Stella Sora. You'll be given one attempt for each boss weekly, and all these bosses will have different elements, so you will have to prepare some teams for them. And these materials that you'll be getting from these bosses will be for leveling up your skills. Now, Boss Blitz is also a boss fighting mode, which we can compare to the deadliest.
Ok, quindi c'è una modalità di boss per farmare l'essenziale dei PG e ci sono diversi boss, ok.
Assault mode in Stella Sora, where you'll be chasing a
questo è il Deadly Assault.
player leaderboard before reaching the end of the event period. And when the event period ends, you'll be granted rewards depending on your rank. And just like
e c'è una leaderboard che ti dà ricompense per rank.
You can increase your score by meeting conditions for each boss that are set out before the battle. And luckily, the first boss blitz period will go from the 19th of October to the 30th of November to give players more time and opportunities to
il primo boss durerà di più. Okay.
Now, Apex Showdown will not be available at launch, but will be a mode we'll get in future, which is very straightforward. It's simply rotating playable trekkers that will come up as bosses that you'll need to defeat in order to obtain the gacha currency as a reward. And the gacha currency name in Stella Sora is Stellarite Dust. And
ok, quindi c'è una modalità che non esce subito, ma dove devi sfidare dei PG per prendere gemme, essenzialmente. Bro, chi è sto tipo? Ne sai a pacchi. Cazzo, meno male. Madonna mia. Meno male che... Ok. Andiamo.
speaking of the gacha system in Stella Sora is a bit complicated, but we're going to go through it together. It's a 2% chance to pull a 5-star character or weapon regardless of the banner.
2% chance sia per armi che per PG.
Dust. However, you can earn
300 gemme per una
Stellarite Dust from the daily tasks. Now, when it comes to the featured character banners, it's a 50-50 system, meaning you have a 50% chance to get the featured 5-star trekker and a 50% chance to get the standard 5-star trekker. Now, the first time you pull on a featured trekker's banner, it's a hard pity of 120 pulls to guarantee the featured trekker of the first time, which is within the regular hard pity of 160. Stay with me here. This means that after reaching the one-time off hard pity of 120, your pity counter continues from 121 to 160, where you can earn another guaranteed copy if you haven't gotten one by then. However, although getting the featured trekker early does not reset your one-time hard pity of 120, it does reset it for 160. And yeah.
Ok, questo è chiaro. Praticamente quando esce un nuovo banner limited, la prima copia ce l'hai assicurata a 120 e se trovi un 5 stelle prima non ti resetta il counter dei 120, ma ti resetta quello dei 160, perché hai un hard PT anche a 160. Ok, va bene. Chiaro. Va bene.
I do understand that it's a bit complicated.
No,
so
non è
just to
complicato.
recap that, if you pull the feature tracker early before 120, your 120th hard pity guarantee does
hai
not
sempre il
get
garantito
consumed
120, ma
and
quello
doesn't go
160
away,
si
but your
resetta se lo trovi
160
prima.
pulls hard pity cycle resets to 0 since you already hit the featured character
È buono,
early,
è buono perché hai il garantito 120. Oddio, è buono. Non so quante pulti dal gioco, cioè non ne ho cazzo di idea. È buono che hai un garantito a 120, rispetto alla media è buono, capito?
The 160 hard pity cycle is the permanent one.
La cosa che lui ti dice è che se tu arrivi a 120, dopo 40 pull hai un altro garantito, se vuoi. Però non ho capito. Vabbè, zero le daily. Zero, guarda le daily di cosa giochiamo noi adesso e fatti il calcolo di quanto ti danno. Ti accorgerai che è uguale. È un terzo di una pool. Non ti danno un cazzo zero le daily, cioè, non sono le daily le fonti di pool, purtroppo.
50, your
Non cambia
160
niente.
pity cycle stays the exact same and does not count.
Questa roba ti sconvolge se non guardi quelli che prendi già adesso, solitamente.
So the 160th guarantee. Now for the weapon banners being disc banners, luckily it's a much simpler system. It's a 75/25 system to get the featured disc from that banner opposed to a 50/50 system. And it has a hard pity which is permanent at 120. Now if you win the 75/25, meaning you get the featured weapon,
Da 75-25 sulle armi è garantito 120.
your pity resets for the next cycle, meaning that you have to climb up again to 120. But if you lose and get the standard 5-star weapon instead, a 5-star disc, the pity doesn't reset until you finally pull the featured one. So yep, that's it for the gacha system. Now
Wait, what? Ah, il 120 non si resetta se perdi. Si resetta se vinci. Ah, ok. Ok. Sulle armi se perdi non si resetta l'hard pity dei 120. Va bene. Va bene.
A 5-star disc, the pity doesn't reset until you finally pull the featured one. So yeah, that's it for the gacha system. Now the first limited 5-star tracker banner we're going to get is going to be the Blades Beneath the Moon banner, and that's going to be featuring the 5-star Shitose. That's going to run from the 19th of October to the 10th of November. For the limited 5-star disc banner on release, that's also going to run from the 19th of October to the 10th of November, which will be the Moon Upon Still Waters, that is going to be holding the 5-star runic disc called Sword Against Stream, that is Shitose's signature weapon. STELLA SORA also announced in the special program that at launch we are going to be getting 70 tracker tickets and 70 disc tickets. When it comes to the 70 tracker tickets, we are getting 40 Sprout tickets and 30 Cerulean tickets. Sprout tickets can be compared to Master Tapes in Zelda Zone Zero, and they are basically for the permanent character banner, while Cerulean tickets are the premium tickets that are only for the featured character banners that we can compare to the encrypted Master Tapes in Zelda Zone Zero. But what about our 70 disc tickets? Well, you know that we spoke about Stellarite Dust earlier, so 300 Stellarite Dust equals 1 Sprout ticket or 1 Cerulean ticket.
Le 70 pull che hanno detto che ti danno gratis in un modo o nell'altro sono 40 standard, 30 limited.
Well, the currency for disc tickets is actually silver discs, of which we are going to get.
Ah, la currency per pullare le armi non sono le gemme, sono diverse, sono questi dischi qua.
21,000 and 21,000 divided by 300 is 70, which means.
Ah, queste sono le 70 pull delle armi. Ah, ok. Ok. Quindi sono 70 pull delle armi, 30 limited e 40 standard.
Just like Stellarite Dust, 300 silver discs is going to equal 1 pull.
Questo è senza contare le gemme in game, ovviamente, ok.
In addition to that, we are also going to get other events on launch that are going to give us tickets and other rewards that we're going to go through now.
Ah, è vero, poi c'hai due PG standard e 2 armi standard che ti regalano, vero?
The first one is going to be the starters gifts, which is going to be a case of signing in for 7 days to get tickets, Stella Resume Pack and Rainbow Disc Packs. But you will have 2 weeks to complete this event from the day you've created your character. The next one we're getting on launch is the first Trek event, which is going to be a daily 7-day task reward to get rewards. And the other event that we're going to have at launch is the Startup Grant, which is going to be the Battle Pass. This is going to be attached to a list of quests that you'll be need to do.
Ok, stai dicendo che come eventi ci sono i daily login, il pass, va bene.
You'll have the option to upgrade your Battle Pass to something called the Elite Grant, which will basically just grant you more rewards and also a skin for one of the trekkers named Minova called Tipsy Daydream. And the Battle Pass will run from the 19th of October to the 29th of November. We've also received a content preview from Stella Sora, which tells us what modes are going to be unlocked from day 1 and what some of the requirements will be to access them. For example, the Menace Arena will start on the 19th of October.
L'arena inizia subito.
Release, but will require you for your account to be level 4. And
ok, l'arena è una modalità che c'è subito, che è una di quelle infinite dove ci sono meno nemici ma con più HP, ok.
What is the authorization level? Well, it's basically your main account level, and that goes up to 60. There is quite a few things attached to that. So
livello arriva fino a 60, ok.
Later, but just think of it like as you'll see it in other gachas, where it basically restricts what you can access and what you can't access depending on your overall progression.
Ok, la roba si sblocca in base al livello, classico.
We'll also be getting the boss blitz mode from the 19th of October up to the 30th, as I explained earlier.
La boss blitz inizia subito, ok, tipo il Deadly Assault, quindi uno degli endgame praticamente.
Also to reach the authorization level being 21 to access it. Now, Stella Sora does have an energy system that you will sometimes see as a stamina system in other games that basically limits how much you can farm and do
240 stamina giornalieri.
That energy system is not attached to the monolith mode at all, which is awesome. What the energy is used for, though, is for farming leveling materials for
l'energy non la usi nel monolith,
weapons,
ma la usi per i materiali per scendere, yada solito.
Engaging enough for people to log in, and I don't feel like that's predatory at all, as the main gameplay loop, being the monolith, doesn't require us to use any energy to access it, which is freaking fantastic. Now, your accounts will recover energy over time, but you
la modalità principale dove ti fai le build che è il monolith non richiede stamina.
And all you need to do for this is send a gift to your
ok, ci sono gift, invia e ricevi dei friendlies che ti hanno stamina. Ah, ok.
What exactly we're going to get on launch, although we do have some information on that already from the beta, but we do know that it has been increased to 100 Stellarite dust per day. But what I'll do is make a daily routine guide for you to maximize your output as soon as the game releases. There are a few other things that I wanted to cover in this video, but I'm so proud of you for making it this far already, as the game is not even out yet, and here you are already learning the basics. This just proves your commitment to Stella Sora, and I think that alone is commendable.
Oh, onesto. Ok. Cioè, ci ho capito qualcosa, decisamente. Ci ho decisamente capito qualcosa. Sto tizio è bravo. Sto tizio è bravo, mi piace come ha fatto sto video, è stato super chiaro e ha detto più o meno quello che volevo sapere in realtà, quindi ci sta un sacco. Yeah. Ve lo linko in chat, tizio è bravo, ci sta. Ne sa a pacchi. Static Nexus si chiama, aspetta che lo sto coprendo. Ne sa, ci sta. Volevo sapere cose e direi che le sappiamo, cioè è una buona base di tutto almeno. Yeah, ci sta, va bene. Allora, ok, per Stella Sora credo che ci siamo. Adesso... Ah, è già disponibile il pre-download, tra l'altro, è vero? Aspetta, me lo metto a scaricare domani ci giochiamo.